Hey, it's Chuck. I want to give you guys a brief synopsis of the different types of training that you can have in this industry and why I feel like my trainings and my training sessions are so much different and so much more effective than many others. Yeah, I've been doing these training sessions around the country for about 5 years now, 2 day training that consists of cutting and color. And as you know, your standard traditional hands-on cutting um, course consists of an educator coming out and doing about 3 cuts, and then you sit there and you watch them, and you come back and you cut those same 3 cuts. Well, anybody can do that. You know what I mean? The only problem with that is that when that trend is gone, about a year later or so, you have nothing. You have nothing to fall back on. You have no support, no foundation. And the way mine is different is because I developed a teaching method called the voice command teaching method. And man, it's nothing like it. I teach you all the ins and outs about cutting, how to do your diagonal lines, how to put movement into the hair, how to create design from the interior, zigzag cutting techniques, back comb cutting techniques, everything there is to know about cutting. And then I never do a full cut. We just do basically the techniques. And then I go and call out those commands, and on every section of the head, you cut this section on this head this particular way, and you cut that way on this particular way, and you cut based on my voice command. And as you're cutting, you start to see the cut start to materialize. And at no point do you know what kind of cut you're going to cut. Sometimes, maybe some of the cuts you may have a general idea as to where we're going. But for the most part, the cuts that we're cutting, you don't have a clue as to what we're cutting. But you just cut based on my voice command. And as you cut, you start to see the cuts start to formulate. And when you cut like that, man, that's hot. That's hot. I like that. That's hot. There's no other way to cut, And so, that's how we do it, We cut that way. And what that does, it allows you to retain the information, It allows you to retain information. Then when you go back later, when that trend is gone, then you have something to fall back on. Now, as far as the color program is concerned, now, let me just say this. If you've been going to color classes for the last year, 5 years, 10 years, or whatever the case is, and you get there and the educator puts a model up on the stage or models on the stage, and they teach you color that way, you haven't had a color class. You know what I mean? You really haven't. And so if you go into classes that consist of illustration done on models in the color classroom, you haven't had a color class yet. And, no pun intended, if you go to a manufacturer's class, whether it be a Clairol or Weller, L'Oreal, Goldwell, Matrix, Firmesa, I mean, you name it. The list can go on and on, man. Paul Mitchell, it doesn't really matter. If you go to a manufacturer's class and that organization teaches you models, teaches you classes using models, you still haven't had a color class. All you have is a class with a manufacturer with a name. Now, I think all the manufacturers will agree with me when I say this, because, when you go to a manufacturer's class, you don't go to learn color. You go to spice up and enriching what you already know and what you already have, okay? And see, that's how it's done. Color is never taught or learned from models. Colors are learned from the desk, the drawing board. Color is a thinking man's game, okay? And so you have to learn color that way. And if you've been going to classes, watching models, you really haven't had a color class, So the way I teach you color theory. I teach you everything from the drawing board up, from the bottom up. Like Drake said, started from the bottom, now we hit. You know what I mean? And so we start that way, and then you can put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and you come up with a formula. And that's how we do it, You put them piece by piece, and that's what it's all about. And not only that, but it does the main thing is we erase all of that fear about color, because that's the major culprit in the color game right now, is that fear. So if you want to learn color the way it should be learned, like that, and you want to get that cutting down the way it should be cut, you want to see me. You want to come see me, okay? I'm going to be in Los Angeles on May 26th and 27th doing a cutting and color program, okay? And I have some tickets for that and a couple of tickets left, and I have a good price on it too. Get with me, okay? And I'll be in Houston on June 9th and 10th doing the same program, the cut and color. And I'll also be in Houston next week for the Image Expo. So if you're not quite sure, you're still uncertain about whether you want to try this or not, come check me out. I'll give you a sample and get you all signed up for that training on 9th and 10th of June in Houston. And I'm coming, okay? So if you really want to learn cutting, man, I'm telling you, that's hot. That's the way we do it with that voice command thing. It's like no other teaching method out there, man. I'm telling you, and it's effective. You ask all the students that tried my training from around the country all these years, and they can let you know what I'm talking about, okay? So come check me out, all right? Deuces.